Hello, hello, and good evening. Good evening.
Hi.
Hello, Kirubai. How are you?
Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you once again this evening.
I know. Good to see you too. Good to
And,
see you
and it
too.
looks like you're in a different environment, staycation somewhere.
What gave it away? I wonder.
Haha, I can see a different setting, a sofa. I can even see a bed. Hey,
You're
you are
absolutely right. You're
away from
absolutely
your
right.
family?
I am away for work. I'm
Oh.
away for work, so I'll be in a school somewhere in Sheffield tomorrow.
Hmm.
So I left family behind today and headed up to Sheffield. So
Okay.
I'm somewhere in the city of Sheffield.
Haha. So you're having time away for yourself to reflect and work.
Well, I don't know if I'll have time to reflect, but I'm definitely going to be working. So maybe somewhere in between, I will do some reflection.
Good on you. Glad that you made time for confidence culture conversations today with your busy schedule.
Do you know what? This is important. So let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. So if you are watching, please let us know. Can you see us? Can you hear us? We want to make sure that the technology is working properly. Okay, it seems to be working fine on my end.
Yes, it is here
It
on my
is
end too.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Kirabai, just reflecting on from our conversation last week,
Mhm.
um, what are some of the points that you took away and maybe reflected on from our conversation last week?
Okay. The two things that really struck me was the power of words and culture. As we spoke, I brought the angle of culture coming from an Asian family back in Malaysia, third
Mm-hmm.
generation Indian, born in Malaysia, and Malaysia being a nation which is a melting pot of four different cultures. Our Indian ethnicity culture mixing in a big pot with all the other three cultures, the Chinese, the Malays, the Indians, and also the mixed race. So can you imagine the concoction of cultures that I come from?
Wow. But do you know what? That's that's a good thing, right?
It
Having
is.
like a mix of cultures.
It is. It's a good thing because we tend to pick up all the good things and we also tend to pick up the not so good things.
Okay.
And and I think what really helped me in embracing cultures and the good things of this culture is what really stood out for me was learning to live peaceably with all these cultures. Even though
Awesome.
we beg to be different, but yet unity. We did have a sense of unity, friendship, living in neighborhoods where we have a mix of people. But by saying that there was also a lot of diversity,
Mm-hmm.
but in areas there was no inclusion. So moving into this culture where everything is so different, it was it kind of broke my confidence.
Oh.
So I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm seem to being the bearer of not so good news. But these were my struggles, different
Mm.
culture. I know we spoke on a different angle last week, but today I think a lots of us in this nation in the UK, we are actually so-called migrants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and to be part of the United Kingdom, a kingdom that unites so many different cultures, there's not one culture per se. So it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult. So but yet we have to live in unity,
That's it.
inclusion.
Mm.
And it took me a lot to build my confidence to face up to all the other cultures, even though I came from a melting pot of cultures.
Wow.
And
Wow. It's interesting because as you're speaking, I'm also thinking about when I came to this country.
Mhm,
And the one of the key differences is that I came when I was about 14 and
mhm.
you came when you were older.
Yes, 47.
So it's interesting. So if we kind of take that conversation and we kind of have a conversation around how did that affect your confidence?
As I said, I was really, truly very affected, because
Mm,
you carry a different way of speaking. The sentence construction was completely different, even though I studied in Queen's English, and that accent you carry.
mm-hmm,
But I must tell you a very funny story. When I came here, I couldn't understand the way people were speaking. I was completely lost. And I even couldn't understand my husband. I said, What are you saying? What are you saying? And it took me some time to
mm,
understand how he was speaking. You see, you speak English globally, and yet you don't understand when you come to a particular land, a particular nation.
mm-hmm.
There is clarity, and yet there's no clarity. This is funny, right?
Yeah. That's interesting because obviously when I came, so I came and I went straight into the secondary school system
Mm-hmm,
here.
mm-hmm.
And that was different. It was very different.
Sure.
So I grew up in Uganda, and when I came here, I could speak English fluently,
Mm-hmm,
um, the way I was taught. And so I came, and the school I went to was a school in Bath.
mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, anything I would say, people would be like, "Sorry, what did you say?" And I'm thinking, I'm speaking English. Why are you not understanding what I'm saying? And there was a time where I decided, sometimes I would just kind of keep myself to myself. I'll
Okay.
just kind of sit down, get a book and read.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up spending like most of my lunch times when I initially started school, was I would spend them just sitting somewhere just reading a book. In most
Oh,
cases it used to be the Bible because that's the book I had in my bag.
wow.
um but after a while, I think as my confidence started to grow and I started to get comfortable in the environment, because I think we don't realize it, but also our environment can affect our confidence.
That's right.
If we're not comfortable in a certain environment, it can have an impact on how confident we feel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us to be confident within yourself, so that regardless of the environment that you are in, you still have an element of confidence that is kind of coming out of you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting experience because it was a complete change of culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had to start making friends.
Mm-hmm.
I had to, it can test your confidence, and as a young person, it can really test you. It can
Mm-hmm.
make or break you, such an experience. And I think sometimes even when our parents are bringing us over, as much as it's all good sentiments, they don't necessarily think about how we can affect the children
Mm-hmm.
in that sense from a social perspective.
Yeah. And your social support is, if you don't have the social support, you would just feel very lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And being in a school full of other people, students, and not being able to interact and make friends when you initially enter your schooling, it must be traumatic.
Mm.
So what made you, how did you overcome that, Elizabeth?
Okay. So I think for me, what helped was that I had an element of confidence in me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So even those moments where I would sit down to read, I wasn't bothered about what other people thought. I was just, I want to read my Bible, so let me sit down and read my Bible. And if people want to interact, let them come and interact. But when it came to, for example, getting involved in sports, I would get involved in it. I just put myself forward and I'll do it. And I guess the other thing that also helped is because I was doing well academically as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped. That was one less thing to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time they used to give, there was this thing in school called commendations that they used to give. So
Mm-hmm.
every week, they would review performance, and you'd get some stars at the back of your diary and stuff like that. So I was literally collecting them. And after some time you would get a certificate.
Okay.
You'd go from bronze to silver to gold. So I was just racking them up. I was like, okay,
So
so
even then you were thriving, eh?
exactly. I was thriving. There you go. You brought the word in. You brought the word in. So for me, because I had a strong personality anyway, so I was able to I was able to cope with the change of scenery, change of environment, and still be me. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the other thing. It's easy to lose yourself because you're not confident. You then start to think, I want to be like them. So what can I do to be like them? How do I need to start speaking? I mean, at some point you have to change the way you are speaking because you're tired of people saying, sorry, what did you say? What's that? I don't get you. So you kind of start picking up words here and there. And I remember the first time, when I moved to Bristol, my family moved to Bristol, and whenever people were getting off the bus, they would say to the bus driver, "Cheers, drive, cheers, drive." Initially, I was like, "What is that?" And when people are greeting you on the streets, they would literally say to you, "All right, me love, all right, me love." I was just like, what is that? So to be able to have the interaction and to have communication,
Mm-hmm.
we had to have an element of confidence in us, and being comfortable in your own skin, being comfortable in who you are
Mm-hmm.
is really, really important. It's very crucial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm completely there with you when I, as you know, I moved here because I was, I moved here to get married. So,
Mm.
and oh, that was like 12, 13 years ago. And when my husband, it was Friday nights were, it was our date nights after we got married. Friday nights, it was our date nights. So we met while he was working in Canary Wharf. We met his other colleagues for drinks. And you were amongst a bunch of bankers all meeting in a pub and having drinks, and then you are a female. Of course their female colleagues would join us, but me there, I was all like starry-eyed because I'm just trying to figure out what are they speaking. So I had to look like that. And Robert used to laugh at me. He said, don't you understand? So I had to stop. Can you explain to me what are they saying? And when friends meet, they will be rattling away. And but what I did was I didn't feel embarrassed
Mm.
because I thought that I had to take the bull by the horn and say, hey, hold on. What are you saying? Please show some mercy to me.
Mm.
And you need a level of confidence to say, hey, hold on here. Hold on.
That's it.
I want to be part of this conversation. And
Mm.
can you explain to me? I'm not from these parts. It takes me time. But I didn't just keep mum. I wanted to be part of the conversation.
I love that. I love that. And it's about having the confidence to not remain in the back. or
Mm-hmm.
not remain in a corner, but
Mm-hmm.
actually saying, putting yourself forward
Mm-hmm.
and saying, I want to. And sometimes that can be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that can be daunting. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that can seem scary. Like, what are they going to think of me?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that really affects our confidence is what we think other people think of us.
Exactly. Well said, Elizabeth. It's the fear of what others will say about it. Come on, carry on. You've touched a nerve now.
Honestly, I was listening to something today, and probably that's where the inspiration for that came from. But when we focus so much on what other people think of us, it can almost make you feel small and insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to watch and to really have it clear in your mind that what other people think about me is not what is going to determine how I show up. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you keep thinking about what other people think about you, so many thoughts are going to go through your mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'll be thinking so much. But you have to get to a place where you are comfortable with yourself, that it doesn't bother you what other people will think.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world that we live in today, there will be people that love you and there'll be people that hate you.
So true.
And the higher that you rise, there's people that are going to be against you.
Speak, my sister, the
But
higher
you
you
just have to,
rise.
accept that that is the reality,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and have the confidence to still be you and still do you, regardless of what people are thinking, regardless of what people are saying.
Mm-hmm. Regardless. And because I came forward and say, hey, hold on, I want to be part of this conversation. They stopped and they started asking me about my country, where I came from, the food. The Malaysian food is amazing. So they asked about my food and the different cultural differences, and how was our honeymoon. So everything was, I became the center of attraction.
Ooh, okay.
So sometimes you can turn the tables around when you have the confidence to say, hey, look at me. Look at
I
me.
love that.
Look at me.
Mm.
But it's not being arrogant. It's not being egocentric. But sometimes you need people to take notice of you and what you carry,
Okay.
or what you bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we said, I think it was the first episode we talked about, your words have power.
Mm.
And then everybody turns around and say, oh, she's got something that's valuable that she can share. And I believe there are some people live watching here. Elizabeth, I want to encourage you today. I just feel in my spirit that I need to say it's time that you show up and show off yourself.
Hey, okay.
All right.
Okay. It is the month of September, so it's time for you to show up and show off.
And
Hey, okay.
shine.
Okay. Show up, show off, and shine.
Hmm.
There you go. You had it from Confidence Culture. We
Yeah.
are giving you the mandate to show up, show up, and shine.
Yeah. And the key is not being bothered about what other people will say.
Mm.
Half our battles is not won because we are so afraid what the third person or the fourth person will say. In
That's
our
it.
Tamil language, that it so clearly says, or what the four people will say. And it has been something I'm very aware of. And I think we all should be aware of. You don't care about what people say, because you, like what Elizabeth says, you do you.
Mm, mm, mm.
And I want to thank Elizabeth for for agreeing to do this confidence culture conversations with me, because that's what attracted me to Elizabeth. I saw her do her on Facebook. So confident. I loved it. I was thinking, oh my world. This woman is so confident. She shows up so confident. And I want to get to know her.
Hmm.
And that's how this confidence culture conversations were born.
There you go. Confidence attracts.
Mm,
Confidence attracts.
amen. Confidence attracts.
You know,
And
if there's an area that you're struggling in, just be confident. Be confident, and maybe in you being confident, it will draw the help that you need, or draw the network or the contact that you need.
mhm.
I think just going back to what you were saying about showing up, showing off, and the shining, or what we've put on there. Um, when you understand the value that you bring, it helps. And I think we said this in our first episode, that you were understanding our value, because
There's no
what
sound.
am I bringing into that room?
Mm-mm. I lost you for a while.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So yeah, when you walk into a room, what are you bringing into a room?
Mhm.
You know, depending on who is in the room, what value can you add to them? You know, there's a video I watched some time back of John Maxwell talking about how he's really big on adding value.
Mm.
And every day when he has an appointment, he'll think to himself, how can I add value? The people that I'm going to interact with today, how can I add value to them? So if I know that I have an appointment with Kirubai, what value am I bringing? It's important for us to think from that perspective, because when you understand what you are bringing, and you realize that you are coming in the room and there is a problem that you can solve, only you can solve.
Yes. And so I think even as meeting someone for the first time, we all
Mm,
have to do our homework, especially in a business setting, or when you want to go and sell something or bring something. Most so like you're attending an interview, you got to do some background
mm,
study, the person or what his accomplishments are, and
mm.
also what their likes and dislikes, because these are all things you build confidence of the other person.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Zippy, good to see you. If you're joining us live, put a comment in the chat so we can say hello, so we can know where you're tuning in from. If you've got a question about confidence, or if there's something that we say that resonates with you, just engage in the conversation, because we don't want this to just be me and Kirabai talking, but we want to get some input from anyone that is watching.
Yes.
If you've got something to say, please use the chat and say what you have to say. Show up and show off in the chat section. We would really love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Um, but just going on
Adding value.
to this adding value situation. Um, we all have to realize that we're not an island, and there is someone out there that has something that you need. So when you walk into a room, yes, you can add value, but there's also value that you can bring. You know, I was listening. I don't know if I shared this last week, but I was listening to Bishop Del Brona, and he talked about how he was at a table with a billionaire. So there were
Mm.
two billionaires at the table, and he knew one of them, but he didn't know the other billionaire. And so he said to himself, he said, I want to receive some value. I want to connect with this billionaire. But he said to himself, how can I solve a problem that he has? What does he need? And so in that moment, he noticed that one of these billionaires, the one that he wanted to get to know, um, called the waitress over and requested for a cup of coffee. And so they brought a cup of coffee, but they brought it in one of the paper cups.
Mm.
So, I don't know why they're bringing a paper cup, if only they knew who this person was they're serving. But anyway, they did that. And so as this billionaire picked the cup up, the cup was a bit hot. So he literally picked it up, sipped a little and put it back. And Del Bronner was quick to think. He was quick to think. He quickly went to the desk and asked one of the waiters, said, "Can I have a ceramic cup?"
Mm-hmm.
And so he took the ceramic cup, came to this billionaire, got his paper cup, poured it into the ceramic cup, and then offered him the ceramic cup.
Mm-hmm.
And in that instant, he got the attention of the billionaire.
Exactly.
Because he solved a problem.
Yeah. A simple problem.
He was confident enough to recognize a problem and to step up and solve a problem. Some of us are seeing but not taking action. He could have sat and not done anything about it, but he took action. And in that moment, the billionaire literally said to him, "Sit down, let's talk."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he said, in that moment, the billionaire shared with him wisdom. Like he spent half an hour just pouring into him. So we need to get to that place where we are confident enough to do something. Our confidence drives us to action. Our confidence drives us to step up and do something. Either it's do something about the situation, do something depending on what's around us, whatever it is. We need to get to that stage.
So, Elizabeth, can I ask you something on the story that you are relating? The guy who showed up, the bishop who showed up, changing a normal coffee cup. I mean, a cup was it a paper cup? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, paper cup to a ceramic cup. It's a simple act. It's a simple act. I would think that he must have had done some research on this billionaire, because the billionaire would like, the etiquette would be, or the etiquette at table manners would be, he would have never wanted to drink a cup of coffee on in a cup, in a plastic cup, or a normal paper cup, but he liked proper ceramic cup. I'm sure he would have done some form of research. That's my point here is, if you're going to a party or a place of influence, you need to know who your guest list is. You need to know your guests. So you make the right confident conversations to propel you to the next level with those people. And I found that being very, very useful. And I know that John Maxwell actually speaks a lot in some of his books, adding value, but making those research first. Research, finding out who your attendees are, and then you can be prominent. Actually, you can literally be prominent because you're talking the talk. They're talking their talk. Is that being pretentious? I don't think so. But it's like showing up there. You're showing up yourself. You're showing yourself and shining.
Absolutely, absolutely. Apologies, guys, if the internet's playing up. I think it's breaking a little on my end, but we're still here. There's a question that came in, Kiruba, and I think we need to address it.
I can't view it, But anyway, please let me know. I can't view it. I can't view any of the questions.
Okay, so I've put the question on the screen. So Digital Frog says, "I feel shy when I speak English. How can I build my confidence?"
Okay, Digital Frog. Do I know you, Digital Frog? Seems familiar. How to build my confidence? Okay, speaking English. English might not be your native language, but English is the universal language. So if you do not try and if you do not make the mistake, or if you made a mistake, people do not judge you for it because it might not be your native language. But by saying that, you cannot just sit on your laurels, reading, watching the news in English, listening to sometimes music, something a little bit more light and easy. But I think personally, even English is not my native language. I still sometimes make my grammatical mistakes. But you know what? I don't shy away. I get corrected by my husband, but I don't shy away from speaking English until unless you speak. You will never know the mistakes you make.
That's it. One of the ways to build confidence is to take action. So if you want to build confidence in speaking English, just speak it.
Hmm.
Speak English. And like Kirubai was saying, watch things that will help you to learn, to build your confidence. Things that will give you a bit more vocabulary. Read, listen, and then speak. Take action.
Mhm. It's
Just take
it's
action.
speaking. The more you speak, the more you see your mistakes, appearing in front of you. You can take it and learn lessons from it.
There you go. There you go. So Kirubai, we've just gone over our half-hour mark.
Yeah, but just
So
one little um, directing it to Digital Frog. If English is not your native language, I think we all make this mistake. We think it our language and start speaking English. Let's say let's say Hindi. Hindi is your native language or Urdu is your native language. You think in Urdu and you try to speak English, you will definitely tend to make mistakes. You got to think English. I don't know that if that adds value to you because it has definitely added value to me because I kind of speak four different languages because we come from a melting pot of cultures.
sandwiches.
Yeah. So I don't know whether that has answered your question, Digital Frog. So
I I
let me keep
definitely hope
quiet.
it does. He is from India.
Yes.
Because he put a comment earlier on to say he's watching from India.
Uh-huh.
So I'm hoping that that has definitely helped. And I think it's one of those things that don't be afraid to make mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. So if you want to build confidence in speaking English, then just speak it. And as you speak it, you will make mistakes, but you learn from your mistakes and you keep speaking it. I look at my daughter, I observe her as she's speaking. She's only 3, but she talks so much. And she has the confidence to speak, whether she knows or she doesn't know. And she's been at that stage where she likes to get involved in adult conversations. So adults will be talking and she'll say, "But mommy, let me tell you something." I'm like, "Janaya, I'm having a conversation." "No, but mommy, I want to tell you something." And you have to give her attention.
Yes.
And she doesn't stop to think, am I going to get it right? Am I going to get it wrong? What are they going to think of me?
Mm.
Sometimes our confidence needs to be like that of a child.
Hmm.
She just speaks. She just speaks. And if we need to correct her, we correct her. And next time she does better because she's failing and we're correcting her. She's failing and we're correcting her and she's learning. So sometimes our learning and our growing is going to come when we are failing.
Comment. Tunji is saying that she's listening to our conversation. Yes. Hi, Janaya. She is such a sweetie, and I love the way she speaks with confidence. And that's because she picks a lot up from both you guys, both you guys, that you bring out the best in that child. You're nurturing her, in a very young age to
Mm.
build up a confidence. And I really love that. Really love that.
No, absolutely. Thank you. But I think just a key thing, and it's kind of taking from what Kirubai was saying to Digital Frog, was literally, if you want to build your confidence, you need to take action. So whatever that thing is that you're not confident in, for example, if someone's not confident in reading, just start to read and maybe read aloud
Mm.
to help you to start to grow in your confidence. It won't be comfortable. Yes, you will fail, but keep going anyway. Keep going. Don't care about what other people are going to
The
say.
other four people are going to say.
Just
Yes.
keep going. Just keep
Yeah.
going. If you want to get confident at driving, you're not going to get confident at driving by just sitting and going in the bus every time. Get in a car and drive.
That's right. Yes, that's so
So,
true. So,
so if
Elizabeth,
you want
what's
to,
sorry, finish it. Now I'm very excited to know what's happening this coming week on your end.
this coming week, what is happening this coming week? Well, I've not got any events, but like we advertised last week, we've got a Kingdompreneurs networking. So it's
Hmm.
a meetup, and it's a time for conversation. It's a time to have some food. So if you are a Kingdompreneur and you are watching right now, I encourage you. 24th of September, I'm going to be there. Kiruba is going to be there. So come and engage in some conversation with us. Come and let's do some networking.
Hmm.
Come and build your confidence. If you're scared or shy, of getting into, crowds and talking about your business, it's a perfect opportunity for you to start to build your confidence in the entrepreneur world, or even just interacting with other people.
Hmm.
I'm gonna share the link if I can find it. So, Kirubai, where can people find you?
Okay, they can find me in all the social media. My page is called Styling with Grace K. My web Facebook is known. I mean, I go by my name, Kirbai Kahoot. But all my other platforms, TikTok, um, Instagram, and my page in Facebook is called Styling with Grace K. And I have an upcoming event, not an event, but I'm going to start my coaching specially designed for the women in Malaysia, Singapore, Asian women who can join us. So I am going to put up that link tomorrow on my Facebook so you can have a look and see whether you would like to join me building women, because that's where Elizabeth and I, we stress upon helping women build their confidence. And I'm looking forward to some of you joining me on this journey, empowering inside out. So
Mm.
that's on the 15th of September, where I believe I will be able to get six women, where I can work with six beautiful women that are struggling to harness their confidence. And I'm going to help. And one of the modules, I'm going to invite Elizabeth to come and share about confidence. Did you hear that, Elizabeth?
Okay, that's really good.
Yes. All right. I think we are having some serious trouble now with the internet.
We are still here. We are still here. So I've just put the link in the chat for anyone that would like more information on the Kingdompreneurs Network meetup that we are encouraging you to come to. Kirubai will share the information for her coaching, and like she said, she's only got space for 6 people. Limited spaces. So I would rush on and take one of those spaces, because honestly, Kirubai has got some amazing stuff. Kirubai, where can people find you?
I've just said lifestyle at Styling with Grace K, or
Okay.
even Kirubai Kahoot on Facebook. I have a lot of information of myself on Facebook. I keep the pictures and the fun thing for Instagram. And also, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome, awesome. So you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Just search for Elizabeth Olujimi or DTB Coaching and you will find me. I am Elizabeth Olujimi and I help Christian women to thrive with confidence in who they are and who God has called them to be so that they can passionately pursue their purpose, so that they can make impact and leave a legacy. Kirubai, do you just want to mention who you help?
Yes, I help women, can be Christians or women who are of different faith. And I call myself a personal transformation coach to help women to gain their confidence, courage to change where they are here today, and to show compassion towards themselves, because most of the time we beat ourselves up while taking charge of their lives. So I want you to take charge, like what Elizabeth say, take charge, show up, and shine in the month of September.
Awesome, awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you, Digital Frog. Thank you, Tunji. Thank you, Zippy. Thank you. I think Bolaji,
Wenget,
I can see you're on.
Wenget
And
from Singapore. He's signed on from Singapore. Who's Wenget is also an amazing emotional intelligence coach,
wow,
and he's
wow.
he's he's on he's on on my Facebook live. And thank you, Wenget. He's an amazing trainer and coach.
I love this. So we've got viewers from Singapore, from India, from UK. Wow, if we've not mentioned your nation, please just put it in the chat section. But thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to love you and leave you. It is the month of September, so don't forget to show up. Don't forget to shine. Don't forget to show off. It is
Ooh,
September, so make the most of it. But God bless you. We love you. And we will see you back next week, Tuesday. It's going to be at the same time. So you will have noticed a change of time. Last week, the past episodes were at 5 p.m. British Standard Time. And we have changed it now to 7 p.m. British Standard Time. So make sure you put the time in your calendar and help us to share the video. It's on YouTube and it's on Facebook, so help us to share the video so we can get more people watching it, so we can start to build an audience. So God bless you. God bless you. Have a lovely evening.